lovelies. Hello, 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 hello. I hope you are all well today, my beautiful darklings. Continuing on with our conversation, it saddened me to see that some people kind of just don't really understand where I'm coming from when I talk about like divine feminine energies and really where I'm coming from my point of view. And that's okay. That's fine. I I guess it's really hard for me to try to explain it and everything going on in here, and relay it in a way that I can articulate it well. Um, Really, why it's so difficult, I think, is because I'm kind of trying to push this beyond our like human thinking, our human limitations, right? And labels that we have for things and break out. And I'm trying to really explain energies or things that we really, I don't think, even have true words for yet because it's very hard to fathom. When you study deeply into the occult or deep references to alchemy and other such things, and you come up with these inner truths that you are passionate about after years and years of work. I think the point or level you get to in your perception of reality or perception of the way you see things that are so big and outside of our world that it gets really difficult to relay like what you're trying to say or describe these things that you found and you know to be true or real, but we don't have words for them yet, so it's really, really difficult to relay it. But bear with me. And some of us just truly don't believe in these things too, and you know what? That's okay. So in this video, I really wanted to attempt to kind of break down the divine feminine and my perception on these things and how it all ties into the work I'm doing this month. Hopefully, after this, you might be able to kind of comprehend where I'm coming from so you can better understand the work. And look, if you don't get it or you don't see things my way, it doesn't mean you cannot participate this month. Please share your own thoughts. Also, I did initially want to cover the masculine and the feminine and that balance and that energy together and all of that. However, as they announced on Moon Scarab's channel, Ramon, he's going to be hosting the Divine Masculine, which I am so excited for. I'm sure it's going to be amazing on his month. And I really didn't want to step on any toes with that. I don't know what he's got planned, but I know that he's going to do a wonderful job because Ramon is wonderful. And I wanted to leave all of the masculine side of things up to him for his month. So that is why I am not touching on that much in here, because I've seen a lot of talk of that too. Though it does tie in heavily, and it's difficult too for me to explain a lot of this without getting into the divine masculine as well. It has been very difficult to stay specific to the divine feminine. But that is what my month is about. So we're getting ahead here, and that will all come, guys. It will, in due time. So I just wanted to say that, hopefully clear a few things up, and let's get into this. So my perception on the divine feminine is a lot bigger than what I believe our limited views are. So please note too, everything I'm about to talk about is my beliefs wholly from the work that I have accumulated, working deeply into the occult and a lot of studying, researching into the occult symbology, myth symbology, a lot of different sources I've pulled from over the years and ultimately come up with my own big truth by connecting all of these dots and accumulating all of this knowledge, working with certain spirits. I have the daemons to thank for that, because they really did help me in my path workings understand a lot of things personally to me pertaining to our reality. And I think once you've come to this ultimate truth in your work, um, it gets difficult to kind of dial it down and go back to where you once were on your path, and kind of relate that when you're kind of beyond that and believe something wholly different. My whole goal for this was to try to work with people and guide them through the human experience and manifestations of the divine feminine energy, and ultimately break out of our illusions of this reality or programming of this reality. And hopefully after this video, you'll have a bit more of an understanding of that. And if you do not want to do this work, that is totally okay. All year for me, I've announced previously on my channel, is working with divine feminine energy. And this is going to kind of continue on my channel even after this month. My whole work this year is based off of what I'm going to be explaining to you in this video. Some of you may not agree, some of you may not resonate, and that's okay. For others, it will. And it is for those people. And I really do appreciate the kindness and the comments left when I was feeling a little down about this. I really do appreciate it. And I think I was mainly down because I was so excited and passionate about this. I was really excited to present it, to the community. And though I understand and respect everybody's opinions, it doesn't mean that it still don't sting a little or hurt when you're not well received, But that's okay. I'm not holding on to that. I'm not mad at anybody. It's cool, really. But I do want to heavily argue a point today. The way that I talk in this video is going to be stated as fact for me, but please keep in mind, these are my beliefs. First, we have source, which to me is the all, the everything, the very original soul of everything, right? The spirit that created all. In this source, we don't have genders. We don't have male, female. We don't have duality. Source just is. And it's a consciousness of all. Source is something that is one of those things that is hard to explain, but the way I like to look at it is bliss. It's a state of being of bliss. When you look at science, which can kind of help go hand in hand with a lot of these concepts, you have dimensions, which from source I see the dimensions. The lower you get, the more dense you get, the more divided and dualistic you get, the more harder it gets. And we are in a very hard dimension of duality. It isn't just the masculine and feminine. Everything was split and divided, and it was operated and programmed to be that way. So ultimately, where I am coming from, we all have these energies inside us, above us, as above, so below. We are connected to this energy, even way down here in this dimension. Even though split, we carry this energy, and it isn't about the sexes at all. It's about these energies in here, these aspects or traits or faces. these embodiments, these archetypes, whatever you want to call it. The reason that I say down here, and there's a difference, you have divine masculine and feminine energy, which is what I am talking about. Then you have human masculine feminine energy, right? Which is human learned traits, human learned roles. So a lot of that I feel like is getting mixed up too. The differences between divine energies and human energies, concepts, traits, roles. It does tie in because, like I said in previous videos, that is how it manifests. What's within is without. We are manifesting this, creating this, giving birth to this, because it's what we believe, it's what it's programmed to do, right? But truly, these energies dance as one inside of us. They have the masculine sun, the feminine moon, consciousness, subconsciousness. What I am presenting to you in this work, when I say we have an imbalance in our world, what I am meaning is that subconscious, suppressed energies that the world constantly keeps at bay is suppressed energy, and we're calling it feminine energy only because of the labels and concepts that humans created for it. What I mean by that is the world is heavily based on domineering, succeeding, war, power, independence. This is what the world predominantly, if you look all around, is about. Logic. Everybody has to succeed. Everybody's battling to succeed. And that's what we're taught from little on up. Programmed to think that's what you're supposed to do. That's all there is to the world, correct? So when you bring in something that we humans gave the label of feminine energies or traits, it seems to be a little bit like frowned upon. Okay, you bring intuition, psychic awareness. That's woohoo. That's not logical. No. You bring in creative things, they don't get as much acknowledgement as something that would be determined masculine. I hope this is making sense, because duality is an illusion. When we say imbalance of the feminine manifesting in the world without labels, what we mean to say is a suppression of true spirituality, of aspects of the feminine as an energy lacking in society, is basically what I was trying to say. The world teaches that feminine things like the occult, witchcraft, intuition, etc., like I was saying, it's not logical. Succeed, succeed, succeed. Due to the labels and society and duality and people purposely trying to stop ascent, spirituality that is presented today to us is incomplete. It's hollow and very shallow. Nobody, I feel, really wants to look deep. We might be afraid of what we'll find, and once you know things, you can't unknow them. So we seek instead of becoming. We allow beliefs of the world and our spiritual paths to become limiting, such as our understanding of things like the masculine and feminine, divine, masculine and feminine. If we knew that there is no difference between divine, masculine, and feminine energy, that there is no separation truly, that it is a very human understanding of the masculine and feminine and how we perceive it, it is not divine, then we would have the understanding to be balanced within ourselves, and we would be uncontrollable spiritually. So let's talk like more masculine, feminine energy, again, not divine, because there is a huge difference. Divine energy is one. Human masculine and human feminine energy is the separation and the dualistic view of the man and woman's traits and roles and imposed on them from society. And this is played upon by us using gender. You have a phallus, so you must be, act, and do this. You have a yoni, so you must act, be, and do this. And after being taught this way of believing and thinking, we divide our energies when it could have been perfect, residing in the harmony of who we are just as a person. I know that shaking up your reality and telling you this may shake up your thoughts, and it's good. It shakes mine up too. We don't handle well our false reality when a veil lifts, truly. Ascent isn't comfortable. Awakening isn't comfortable. I can sit here and talk about the human, masculine, and feminine all day. There's a variety of videos out there about that beautiful energy of the masculine and feminine and those very shallow viewpoints of the masculine and feminine. And look, it's not that it isn't valid, because it is. You have to start somewhere and become aware at some time of these things, and that's where you start. And it truly is beautiful. And learning about all of that and how they can connect and balance each other out, right? And become as one, that alchemical harmony between the both. It's beautiful, and beautiful stories. What I'm presenting to you is a bit bigger and deeper than that. My work this month was lots of time channeling a very specific energy to guide you to your truths. Love of the self, this energy within you. The dark feminine goes against the status quo. That isn't only being a rebel, it is challenging the way you believe. It is the way you think, the way you act. It is challenging your entire existence. On the surface, my relationship would also be a beautiful example of that balanced masculine and feminine energy manifesting between my partner and I. We are a team. It makes me happy to cook for him while he works on changing the oil in my car. But we reverse these roles at times as well. Or we do it together. More often than not, it's together. To me, that's more balanced than playing these roles given to us by society. We love to do it together as a team, not giving each other a role. We like stepping into that divinity, that energy, and doing everything as one. To me, when I cook a meal for him and I'm in that energy and I'm loving it, that is just a love language. I love to serve and make him happy, and I know it'll make him happy. That isn't necessarily a feminine trait or embracing my femininity to me. Now, if it is for you, that is beautiful, really. And if it makes you happy, do that. But I don't want to put labels on this as that's a feminine role, that's a masculine role. If a man likes to, as Rochelle had mentioned to me, garden, does that make him in his feminine? You know, does it just makes him love gardening. If he was single and had to cook for himself, that's a feminine trait. I wouldn't say, oh, he's cooking a grilled cheese sandwich, he's in his divine feminine right now, or his feminine energy. No, it would be he's just cooking a sandwich, right? That's what I mean by these things humans do that are so funny. Because when you really break them down with all these labels and human imposed or programmed imposed things, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. And that is what I'm trying to relay, is to me, it makes no sense. And I think humanity, you gotta laugh at it, really. Not as a mockery, but because when you really do think outside the box, you're like, huh, That's strange. It's because you have been told your entire life that that's a feminine role, or told your entire life working on cars as a masculine role. These are not the same thing to me as divine energy. Divinity doesn't do all that. Do you think Source is changing oil or cooking and calling it, oh, that's my feminine side, that's my masculine side? No. And that's the whole point I'm trying to make here. Just as Source is not out there raging, against the patriarchy. All of these things are what I was saying in my previous video. They are just the way they are manifesting due to energy within us as people, our unbalanced masculine and feminine energy within us. It really comes down to the programming. And really, the imbalance comes from what is imposed on us. These limitations, these roles. Because Rochelle also made another point when we were talking about this. We were both kind of thinking the same thing. When you're born, from the time you're not even out of the womb yet, like she said, at a baby shower, the minute you find out the gender, it's all pink or all blue. And then you tell your kids when they're toddlers, you play with dolls, you play with cars. These are all human imposed energies versus a divine energy of being you, who you are, who you really are, and being comfortable with that energy. And this is what I feel that divine energy is trying to wake us up to. When we say the return of the divine feminine, we mean the return of the balance within all of us, our way of thinking. Instead of succeed, drive, power, it's use our intuition to succeed, use our creativity to succeed. That is bringing back the divine feminine in our world and society. If you want to rage against the patriarchy, or if you want to cook bread, and that's what makes you happy, do that. If you're in a beautiful energy, embrace that. If it puts you in a beautiful state or energy, please embrace that. But calling it masculine or feminine is where I have to really question things. Because I think it is a human learned behavior, a limited belief. I've come to this conclusion by understanding occult symbology that is hundreds of years old and presented to us all the time, all along with working with a lot of these energies. And it is simple. We all have to start somewhere in our awakening, and it starts where we are at. It starts by raging. It starts by building our intuition, sitting with our emotions, healing. It all starts on a journey and leads you further to your truth. It starts with identifying and becoming aware of what the human masculine and feminine truly is at its core, naturally, primitively. Take out and deconstruct all of these programmed ways of thinking, all of these labels and imposed things on the masculine and feminine, and ask yourself, what comes natural? They would just be, correct? It's humans that had to put all of this on us. It's humans that created all of this and the imbalance, and we're manifesting it in many different ways. So identifying and becoming aware of what is natural, what was learned, that is a great start. Then we continue recognizing the imbalances and ask why? And what can we do that starts within us to change and balance this? Because everything happening outside, I believe, is happening due to our mass consciousness manifesting it. Next, we feel our emotions, we process them, we work through them. We can't run from them. When we balance the head with the heart, we know this in the occult as witches, guys. You learned this early on. The head, the heart, aligning, alignment in everything. You have to face your emotions and work through them and go through that process and heal them and feel what you're feeling in order to find your alignment. If we literally tuck down everything we're feeling because we only want to focus on the positive all the time, that's not going to get you over it. It's going to keep reemerging in patterns. But the more you feel it, the more you express it, the more you can work through it, and those patterns get smaller, like the spiral of the universe. You have to work through that spiral. And it is hard. It is so hard. It's hard being human. It truly is. Once you process all of these human experiences, all of these emotions, and you process what it all means to you truly, looking beyond the illusions, you'll find your truth. You'll find something greater. And I'm challenging you to do that, to look beyond, to look within, to really go within. When you hear witches say all the time, it's work, you have to do the work. This is what that work is. Part of it, partly. At least where ascent is concerned. Once we process and get over all of this and we can get in alignment, we can step into our divinity, our divine energy, because then we are more connected to that energy, and then we are capable of so much. Once we can do that, we bring back the balance. Then everything just is bliss, copying source. When we no longer see the duality, then we are owning our divinity. When we no longer adhere to those illusions, we are in our divinity. Our reality is so filtered through limitation. This work was meant to help some people see. We were taught to look outward since the day we were born, and I'm trying to guide you to look within, and it's not easy. It's not easy for any of us. We were taught to look at people, objects, gods. The world never told us to go within, to explore the universe inside of us, the power that we have, to question why we were embracing only logic and war and success, instead of inside, the hidden, the universe, the entire spiritual structure that I am labeling as the divine feminine. Outside right now is the masculine energy. Inside, divine feminine energy, hidden, suppressed, that needs to be pulled out for the balance of the world that starts with us individually. Think bigger, bigger. We have to stop looking at all of these energies versus anything else too. We hear divine masculine, we hear feminine, and we automatically versus something. The world programmed it that way. The hidden structure within you, the divine feminine energy, is capable of transcending consciousness, time, space. And that is what happens symbolically when you look at the stories. Take Lilith, for example. She grew into her own power, looking within, breaking out of those illusions and that system and the roles she was given. And she flew away and harmonized with Samael. And together they changed the fabric of reality. What is that telling us? That there's something inside of us all that we need to pull out to balance and change our reality. And that is what the divine feminine is, that hidden key to doing this. So what is your goal in spirituality? What's your goal? If you're comfortable where you're at and you just want to continue practicing witchcraft, believing what you believe, and you're comfortable with that in your own reality that you have built for yourself, I respect that. That's valid, it's real. But if you, like me, are chasing something bigger, deeper, ascent, your own godlike self, You want more. You want truth. And my work may resonate with you more. I use witchcraft. I utilize energies of gods, daemons, goddesses, archetypes. But after working many, many years with so much other things from other realms, extraterrestrials, that's when it really opened up for me. Things from other realities, you realize it's so much bigger than what we even know or can comprehend. And that may sound crazy or woo-hoo, but again, that's the suppressed divine feminine energy, in my opinion. I just understand that there's so much more out there to discover, and I'm not content in my reality yet. I will not comply to that obedience of settling that it is just this. I am going to fight that part inside of me that always wants answers, and then when I'm satisfied, that's the end. No. I will never be satisfied limiting myself in certain beliefs or the beliefs of the tricks of this reality. We are a culture engineered to distract us from ourselves and who we are. The ancients were far more advanced than us, and it was because they knew all of this. They were so in touch with all of this. But then again, they also rewrote our history and changed things, and that's sad. Anyway, these are my thoughts. Probably won't resonate with everyone, but that's okay. I just wanted to come on here and share that. So maybe it'll make more sense. And even if you don't agree, you'll at least know where I'm coming from in my thought process. But I'm really excited because tomorrow we are going to be doing my spreads and talking about female sexuality. Haha! Yes. I love you guys. And though my work is kind of heavily structured, working with a certain divine feminine energy, it is a very structured work. I did it for a reason, and we're going to talk more about that at the end too. There's so much I'm going to be covering about this, even after this month. So please, before coming to your conclusions about my work, kind of stick around maybe and explore a little longer, because there's so much more I have to talk about, so much more I have to offer. And it will be getting into that divine masculine as well, because I do want to talk about that. I feel like I have a lot to offer in my perspective with this. So that is my ultimate truth in all of this and the way I view it. But I am still going to be lecturing or talking about and presenting the less heavier concepts too. And I'm excited to do that too. But ultimately, it's all leading to this conclusion, my work. So anyway, thank you so much, guys. I really love you, and I appreciate each and every one of you.